It's the midway point in the Championship playoffs. One leg played, one to go. Who is making the final? In game one, it was the third versus sixth place semi on Friday night. Ended Luton 1, Huddersfield 1. The Terriers snatched the lead through Sinani on 12. But Luton pushed and pushed throughout that first half. Equalised through Sonny Bradley. Huddersfield were on top in the second half. But no more goals means it's all square going back to Yorkshire on Monday. Game 2 in the fourth versus fifth place semi-final up at Bramall Lane. It was Sheffield United 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Jack Colback nicked an opener. It probably should have been 2 at various points during the first half. The Blades rallied at the start of the second half, but Forest went away, pinched that second through. Brennan Johnson, I could have been sat here saying, look, this one's all done with a 2-goal deficit, but... and apparently this one went in off Sander Berger. A set-piece goal right at the end in stoppage time does give the tie a little bit of a different complexion going into the second leg. And before we get to those second legs, please go ahead and hit that like button to support the video and the channel. Next up then, it's Huddersfield versus Luton. Second leg all square on Monday. In terms of team news, I'd expect that Huddersfield side to look pretty much the same as it did in the first leg. We did, and this is good news for Huddersfield fans, see Sorba Thomas come on, run around a bit for the last 5 minutes at the Kenny. Surely, if he's fit now, he starts in the second leg. Perhaps we might get a little tweak with one of the 3 centre halves, but we'll see. I think Carlos Corberan is already fairly close to what he's going to be selecting with what we saw on Friday night. Well, Huddersfield fans did get to see returning star player Sorba Thomas. Luton fans didn't get to see returning top scorer Elijah Adebayo. Not on the bench, nowhere to be seen. Obviously, we're in the realms of speculation here now, but my brain says if he wasn't ready for the bench on Friday, he's probably not starting on Monday. But you never know, we might get a big surprise and he may travel, be involved in some capacity. I'm sure that would be a good fillip for those Luton fans. Otherwise, central midfield, Henry Lansbury was in the wars. Naismith did step in there during the second half. That's the only other area. We know these teams now. We've known them all season. It's all going to be fairly similar, I think, to Friday night. I said in my preview of this one that I thought the big chance for Luton was game 1 at home in that first half. I've seen Luton several times there and they really get after teams. And they did get after Huddersfield. They played well, but that breakaway goal is a big blow. And you would want, if you're a Huddersfield fan, to be thinking, right, was that your best shot? And we managed to get away with a point. If you're a Luton fan, you're going to want them to do it all over again. I just think Luton would be ill-advised to bomb on in the second leg like they tend to do at home. What we do know about Luton, though, that their fans will maybe be clinging onto a bit here, is they have got in their locker that clean sheet away win type thing. They've done it 8 times this season. And remember back to last season, we would constantly joke about how few goals Luton had scored away from home, but how many away wins they managed to record. Look, Huddersfield are durable. 1 defeat in 14 at home in all comps. Those set plays really are an absolute nuisance as well in terms of putting pressure on. And they beat Luton at home in April and will be very keen to repeat the trick on Monday. I will be there. Be sure to check out the vlog. Onto the City Ground and Forest versus Sheffield United on Tuesday. And again, in a story of returning key attackers, Keenan Davis did make the bench and he did come on for 13 minutes for Forest at the end. Steve Cooper has a lead and he's probably got the option to use him from the bench again in a break glass in case of emergency mode. Look, if Forest were maybe trailing, he might be more likely to risk Davis, but I think Surridge dovetailed so well with Zinkernagel and Johnson that perhaps we might well see the return in Davis from the bench again in leg 2. Sheffield United don't really seem to have masses in reserve that's actually going to make a huge difference. Maybe Baldock could start a right wing back. Hourihane has been there, done it before. And there's still the fingers crossed from the Blades fans of a Billy Sharp resurrection before game 2. I don't really think it's changing personnel that's going to make a difference if the Blades are going to make the comeback and get to Wembley. I think it's a change of outlook that would see them through. Let's be very plain about this. In this semi-final, if the second leg in any way mirrors the first leg, I don't think we get much argument from anybody who watched leg 1 that Forest would be making it through to the final. I suspect the position that most Blades fans will be taking is that surely the gap between the two teams will be a bit closer, and there's only one goal in it. Well, there's one goal in it, you've always got a chance. Given they've got the lead, Forest hold the cards here, and that lead was gained by punishing Sheffield United on the counter, exploiting those spaces left, particularly when that midfield pushed up the pitch. United would be mad to be that open again at the City ground, so there's an argument a little bit more for sitting in, trying to use Gibbs-White. Can you get him 1v1? Pretty much exactly what Forest did in the first leg, and those set plays that Steve Cooper was mentioning very frequently in his post-game. The problem there is that Forest only don't need to win the game, and Steve Cooper was in the same position last season with Swansea. They had the lead from the away game at Barnsley, and he made life very hard for Barnsley in that situation. Before I give you my thoughts, get yours down in the comments. Who makes the final? Who's going to Wembley? As usual, let's make this debate vaguely credible. So I want to know what you think is going to happen from up here, not what you hope is going to happen from in there. It really does feel like things are edging towards a Nottingham Forest versus Huddersfield final. It's the two teams who were higher in the table, the two teams playing at home in the second leg. Even in terms of returning players, it looks like those two will have Thomas and Davis available, and the other two sides won't have Sharp and Adebayo available. But look, it's the playoffs, and obviously the reason Luton and Sheffield United are there in the first place is that they are good sides. Anything can happen, but if you held a gun to my head right now, I would be expecting Forest and Huddersfield, who would that be? Jonathan Hogg and Joe Worrell, to be leading their teams out at Wembley at the end of the month. Get your views down there in the comments. If you hadn't already, check out my reviews from the first leg. I'm a bit tired today, but I have been to both games. Check out Luton versus Huddersfield here and Sheffield United versus Forest here. I'm looking forward to leg 2. Remember, it's the playoffs. It's the championship. Anything can happen. Bring on the madness.